Welcome to Beyond the Blockchain podcast. This is your host, Abby Harris. This week, I have all the way from the other side of the world, my buddy Josh Lang. Welcome to Beyond the Blockchain podcast. Josh, what is up? How are you doing? It's good to see you. What is that? You in Saturn? You in space?
GM, brother, GM, man. Yeah, man, I'm in outer space, as you know. A lot of people ask. Well, first of all, it's exciting to be on your show. I've been wanting to come on here, as you know, for a long time. We known each other for a bit.
Yes.
And yeah, I got the space background both because I'm into crypto, blockchain, Web3, outer space ideas, but also everybody asks, where is Josh in the world right now? Because I'm in a different country every week. It seems I just got into Vienna. From yesterday, I was in Saudi Arabia. Last week, I was in Warsaw, Poland. Who knows where I'm going to be next? But I guess you have to wait and see, But I'm in Europe right now.
It's always exciting to hear from you because you have a journey that is like no other. That's number one. Number two, the excitement just to have a conversation with you, the excitement of life and the things that you have done and some of the coolest people that you have met. It's just like it goes beyond. So I always like to start off with the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Back to school, back to the basics. You got to keep the basics, right? Like all of this technology, but a lot of times some of these technologies miss the basics. So let's just start out with, who are you, Josh? Where you come from? Like, how did you go down this journey? What does Web3 mean to you? Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah. So who, what, where, when, why? And you know what? A lot of people talk about the sixth one. It was this H, how. All right, and that's a good question too. Is how the hell did I end up here in this space? But who, what, where, when, and why? Well, okay, I'm Dr. Josh Lang, but it hasn't always been like that. I, like a lot of people in our from the United States, originally. From Miami, and grew up as an orphan. Actually, I was an orphan, and grew up on my own. And I know what it means to hustle. I know what it means to do hard work, and I also know what it means to have a complete lack of opportunities. And but I changed. I had a pretty crazy life. This is my second life. I'm not going to talk about my first one, but let's just say my second life. I came out really strong, and I ended up not only moving from the corporate world to education, but ended up building over 100 programs around the world, lived in 7 countries, built 3 universities. I was applied linguist and building university programs for around the world. I built them behind the scenes. I was that guy that pulled the pieces together between the Western universities, the Eastern universities, the governments, and all this stuff. And also always really close to students, and became a really famous, well-known professor and leader for building students and helping them to grow their own potential. Some of them, I would suggest that they got out of the university and went and did something else. And I got in a lot of trouble for that. But at the same time, some of them followed my advice. I tell you what, one of them, I just was in Saudi Arabia, and I was meeting some of my former students from 15 years ago. I know I look close to your age, but what I'm saying, I don't have any facial reconstruction surgery yet. But so I was only 26 when I started out in academia. And this one student, I said, hey man, I think it might be better that you, he was from Saudi Arabia. I said, hey, I think that it might be better that you don't go to university, you try something else, but I'm going to be here to support you anyway. And he actually took that advice and left the university the next year, and went back and started a business with a friend. And it was a hugely successful, wildly successful marketing agency that they built. He just exited, and now he's on to other things. But I just visited, like,
Quick
Thank you for
question.
that.
Quick question behind that, and I'm glad you brought that up. Um, some people don't understand that school isn't for everyone, especially if you have a certain type of mindset. Um, for you to say, as a professor, to say, "Hey, I don't think this is for you," what did you see in that person? Because there are certain people that are geniuses in their
Yeah.
own right, right? And sometimes the institutional foundational thinking of school and education, a lot of people go to school and have degrees and stuff that ain't worth the education that they went to school for. So could you like get into that a little bit more when you actually can identify somebody to say, "Oh, I see you have a certain talent. You have this. This isn't what you should be doing. You should be doing that."
Well, I don't know if I'm the right person to be a spokesperson for higher education, since, as you know, maybe last year at NFT NYC, I ripped up and burned my PhD on stage. But I've seen all, because I came from an alternative path. I didn't come in from university and all that. I had to go through. First of all, I was working 24/7 at in a maintenance division in Miami. I learned all kinds of different skills because I grew up on my own. So everything from electronics, home electronics, to plumbing, cooking, all these kind of different skills. Automotive, I could fix all the different cars. So I learned how to do stuff because I needed a job. I needed to survive on my own. But I see that these things build character. They build all kinds of different ways of problem solving. And you can be, if you're a creative person, you can create different products, and you learn how to solve problems. You learn how to be resilient under pressure. And then when you get into, I didn't get into entrepreneurship until about, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I should have got into it way earlier myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the ability to see potential in people. And that potential isn't limited in this linear path. It's also non-linear, and
Mm-hmm.
people do it in many, many different ways, in different forms. And it's really, I got into earlier on, this is way before blockchain stuff. I want to get to that story because it's really interesting. Because I'm one of the inventors of the semi-fungible token NFT technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get to that, how education led to that, and that is leading back to education. But one of the theories that came to my mind when I was in community college, I learned about this theory of multiple intelligences. And I ended up going to Harvard as well and studying under Howard Gardner, who's one of my mentors, and he's the designer of this, or discoverer of multiple intelligences. And basically what he did back in the 80s was he found out that IQ only measures 1/8 of our intelligence. And actually he redefined intelligence in a way where, instead of being because IQ test or any standardized test can only, and we're talking about SATs, GCEs if you're in England, all these other kind of ACTs, any kind of 3-letter word you want to give out to a standardized test. Basically, the only two things that will judge is logical mathematical capability and language capability, because they're language-based tests, these psychometric tests, and then they can study like certain types of logic. And this is one of the reasons that these tests have also been to see as racist in some sense, with this bell curve study and these other things. It's not that the tests are racist, it's that the tests only measure very specific things that don't correlate to the broader society. And so what he saw is that there's actually in the brain 8 different potentials in the brain. And when people activate those potentials, it turns into creating products and solving problems that are valuable in a society. So there's 8 intelligences, and this is what's cool. There's a musical intelligence, which we all know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you can think of it.
It's so funny because we don't have to write songs down, and we can hear it years ago and remember it word for word. Like Like there are certain things
Yeah.
like you might have heard this song, the melody you're singing, it come in your head. Like I get you with that musical intelligence. Um, what
Yeah.
else? I don't mean to
Well,
hold you up.
it's what no, it's good. No, and so the thing with the thing with an intelligence is that it is something that's valued in a culture, right?
Yeah,
And so music is valued across all cultures, but it's valued differently in a culture, right?
yeah,
But each culture, notice that every culture has its own instruments, and there's an unlimited, you can go unlimited skill at that. It's just like with rapping, you know what I mean? Like how fast can these guys rap?
yeah,
And that's using the voice as a skill, but it's also this creative element. It's unique. It's a unique intelligence, and it can't be defined on some test, and it can't be defined in some school. Like Eminem didn't go to school. You know, Dr. Dre, he didn't go to school. You know what I mean? He's like he's called Dr. Dre, but he doesn't have a PhD like me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
He's got a PhD in music and in production.
yeah.
And so you've got also what your strength, you have also interpersonal intelligence. You get on with people good. You can do this. This is valuable in sales. This is valuable in entrepreneurship. This is value across things. Intrapersonal intelligence, which is knowing yourself and having those skills. You know, a lot of people talk about self-confidence, things like that. That requires an intelligence. Then there's, of course, visual spatial intelligence, which a lot of people have strengths in whether it's not just painting and art, but it's also many things like design, architecture, understanding these visual elements. You know, then you have naturalistic intelligence, where you connected to biology, flora, and fauna in the earth. So you have 8 intelligences, and I definitely recommend to people to check out multiple intelligences theory. It never got mainstream. Why? Well, it's just like crypto's not mainstream. Why? Well, because there's a lot of forces that are trying to keep that down because their interests are in like selling a lot of big major tests like the SATs.
Yeah.
You know, so
it all goes down to money at the end of the day.
Money. Well, that's how kind of our culture in the United States particularly runs. But the world kind of revolves around money a lot more than it needs to. And I mean, it was not money that got me into crypto, though. I was building universities around the world. I was building Nazarbayev University for the president of Kazakhstan, the first university in Eurasia with academic freedom. And I was in there as a bit of a saboteur to insert critical thinking into a country where critical thinking was illegal, a felony crime. So I was like working behind the scenes, making and connecting people with society. But one of the things I was doing is also building the technical infrastructure for the online learning and assessments. And what did I find out? A bunch of fake degrees, bunch of scam certificates, bunch of fake stuff people talking about. And you know what? Universities and all these people, they don't know how to really judge a person's background. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to get them to Harvard or MIT or something like that. You know, a lot of times they can't just judge based on your academic credential because there's like 10,000 people that have like a 3.0 GPA. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I want to go to Harvard. I want to go to Harvard. I want to go to Harvard. What sets you apart? Well, it's your activities in society, your entrepreneurial business thinking, all that, blah, blah, blah. You know, in the end, like you said, it's about money. It's about your family connections and all that. But at the same time, there was no technology that could really identify or prove independently the validity or verifiability, what we would call it, verifiability of certificates. And so I was looking into that in like 2013. I'd already received some Bitcoin because I help people with their PhD writing, and some computer scientist, he couldn't pay me. So I'm like, all right, buy me lunch. And he's like, I got something better. I'm going to give you this Bitcoin. I said, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll take your Bitcoin. I think it's a really cool idea, but you still owe me lunch, Because it was like worthless. But so I had a little bit Bitcoin, so I loved the concept, but I really loved the Ethereum smart contract and the non-fungible technology. And so I set about creating a design for universities to have credentials that like certificates that were able to, be verified on a
So hold on,
blockchain.
hold on, because
Yeah.
you passed by this quick.
Oh,
When people started trying to get in and they sending you documents and stuff to get into the school, you talking about there was a bunch of people who have fake documents, fake degrees, fake.
you, you don't even know. You don't even know. It's like 30%. It's like
30%.
no, that 30%. This is what I'll tell you. One of the first uses of the blockchain, the valuable was in Japan by I think it was Mitsubishi Corporation or Sony. No, sorry, Sony Corporation. And what it was tons of people that what they found out that they were hiring people that said they could speak some Japanese. They had some certificate or something from some Japanese school, but then they went there to work there. They couldn't speak any Japanese, and so it was terrible. And so and what they found out, they did a big study, and they found out about 35% of people have some form of fake degree or certificate on their resume. They're lying, and it's not only man.
Oh, that's LinkedIn all day, huh?
LinkedIn all day. Oh, I'm the former, Boston consulting guru of the most biggest, highest Harvard executive education. And
It's so funny. The other day, because I'm hype on this bull run, right? So I want to get on some of these exchanges, but us being U.S. citizens, that we can't get on some exchanges, and unless we have a VPN, right? So because they want us to KYC, but once you KYC and you show your United States ID or your United States passport, you can't get in. So I just found an article the other day of a company called fakesonly.io that they give you fake passports out of 12 different countries to pass for the KYC. So now I have this big issue now. I have this very big issue. I can't tell the difference what's real and what's not because of AI. You can't tell anything like with the deep fakes, right? The voice recognitions, like you can how now being in this space that we're in, we understand that the fake, and you saying on the educational level, people are presenting fakes to get in schools and colleges globally. How are we going to function as a society if we can't tell what's real and what's not within this AI space?
I don't know, man. It's not only what can we tell real and what's not on our ID space, but it's also like people. You know what I'm saying? Like they be looking like, covering their faces now with so much Botox and things like that you can't even tell if a person has emotions or not. But but no, for real, AI and deep fakes and things like that is a huge, major concern. And this is one of the topics that I had Brittany Kaiser on Crypto Mondays Global, which is obviously where I know you from. We were both hosts of Crypto Mondays.
Yes.
And I had her on. Brittany Kaiser was a whistleblower for Cambridge Analytica. Mm. And she was wearing this necklace that said, "Oh, your data." And, she's a boss and she's amazing. They had a big famous Netflix documentary about her. But I asked her about AI and Web3 and the connection there, because the key benefit of Web3, and I just heard Snowden talking about this the other day in relation to children's rights, because it's not only faking people out and things like that, it's also protecting people that are vulnerable, especially like children, and having their identities stolen and things like that. So they were talking. So she was answering about the importance of Web3 as that identity layer, right, and Web3 as that privacy layer as well, because this is a solution where instead of the data being controlled by an intermediary, you own your data, right? Instead of it being hosted somewhere by someone who there's always a back door. You know what I'm saying? It's like, any freak will tell you. There's always a back door. And so Satoshi Nakamoto, he found that one what's it called? That one registry that doesn't have a back door, because you have all these certified registries, and this is what and they say, oh no, we're not taking your data, but this is what Snowden uncovered, right? Is that actually they are, but with Bitcoin they can't, because it's not certified through that, and so it created that open door. But and then with the decentralization, that enables now that data to be not centralized, so that there's no single point of failure or single point of control. And then to take it to the next layer, which is super important about the data, is that like who can access that data and when, and who knows where you're at. Because like right now they can make a bunch of inferences about you, and inferences like, oh yeah, you and his girl, you turn your phones off, or your phones go to sleep at the same time at the same place, and therefore they can make an inference that you're sleeping together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the next night it's with another girl, and then the next night it's another girl. Next night,
Yeah, I got you.
I'm talking about me. So, not you. So, anyways, this is on a social graph. This is inference. They can make inferences even if they don't have your data. You sign off the contract. You're not really giving consent to it. You're just basically giving it over all your data. They keep it like that. But now we have, and this is a space to watch. This is a space to be on top of in crypto. It's a ZK snark, ZK stark. So zero knowledge proofs. We already had end-to-end encryption, but now we have zero knowledge proofs. And zero knowledge proofs just basically say this thing happened, but you don't need to know who did it, where it came from, and that prevents this AI, because AI is based on large language. I was applied linguist, man. So I was a professor in applied linguistics and computational linguistics, where I know about AI a long time, and my private company actually uses AI for language tools, ed tech. I built ed tech as well. And the thing is that this is really the key to Web3 taking off in the biggest sense, is actually the AI coming up and showing everybody the importance of privacy, the importance of owning your own data, and the importance of not having these third parties get involved, because they're now using AI to even take more control and to exploit us even further.
So one thing that I seen you post on, I'm not sure if it was LinkedIn or somewhere, that you can always tell when AI has written an article, the terms and the slogans that AI uses.
Unleash. I'm so fucking tired of seeing the word unleash, unveil, and unlock. I'm about to unlock that Glock in my fucking brain. I'm gonna unload. It's a bunch of guys in a room, and coming up with words and phrases based on the model. So the model's limited. The chat GPT. Have you seen that too?
Oh, I use it a lot, and I have to omit a lot of sentences that's just repetitious. It's just, first of all, I always start off, don't start my conversation off so overzealous. Like, it's like the phenomenal writing of this magnificent. I'm like, nobody talks like this.
And then it's really pretty obvious that people use it. But you know what? I've always thought, like, people are like electricity. They're always looking for the shortest way. They're always looking for the easiest way.
Easiest way is not always a good way, especially.
Well, language is power, and I've known that for a long time. And it's also the thing that can trick us and deceive us It's just like what you were just talking about on your podcast earlier when I watched today about scams. Very good, important topic. And it's basically it's the way people scam us is what they say to us that'll trigger those emotions, like you said, that emotion of greed, or that that emotion of loss, or that emotion. It's just like how people trick us all day with language, and now it's just such a sophisticated science, and AI can do it. So it's a big thing, But I definitely support the use of AI, and I think that when we have it a little further on, that everyone's going to see the importance of Web3. I think the youngest generation now, the Gen Z, is already seen it, because they're like, I don't want deep fakes about myself, and some fake body of my 12-year-old naked body sitting out there, you know what I mean, or something that I say, like some racist thing or something, and then it goes public and it's not even me, it's some deep fake. I mean, it's crazy.
That's the scary thing about this presidential debate and all the information that's coming back and forth. You don't know what's real and what's not. You know what this reminds me of, and I made reference to it. You remember that? I don't know if you've seen it. That TV show with Michael Douglas the movie called The Game.
No, man.
Oh man, they had it down to everybody around him was acting. From the TV show that he was watching, to the garbage man that was picking up something, to everything around him. So it just, like, I'm just starting to see revelations that we seen before. We already started with the Simpsons, with the Apple goggles, walking all over the place, right? We got flying cars now. We got talking watches like Dick Tracy and the Jetsons. We getting ready to have the robots, which I'm scared of, the iRobot and Terminator, right? Because all of these things, we got the deep fakes, then we got good actors, we got bad actors, we got good programmers, we got bad programmers. It's like this thing is becoming a little bit too much now.
It's like we all need a break, right? I mean, it's crazy because it's so in your face as well. And it's in your face in a couple major ways, right? It's in your face because we're already seeing the jobs go down.
That's another thing. That tech sector, I see.
What are all these people gonna do? You know what I'm saying? People talk about, oh yeah, well, you know what? We need immigrants and stuff like that, and to do all the jobs and all the labor and all the work and stuff like that. But a lot of them are taxi drivers. It's like, what are you gonna do with this 55-year-old Turkish guy that doesn't speak English? He's a great taxi driver. He's helping me out with my Uber ride all over the place. But guess what? Tomorrow he's gone with his self-driving car. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
And what are all these people going to do, like, that used to be high-paid people that have all these big egos, like accountants and lawyers and all these white-collar workers and stuff like that? Now AI is going to take their job. They are useless outside. They can't like do stuff like I can. They can't do like home electronics and build blockchains and stuff. There's going to be all these kind of useless people now, and they're not useless. It's just that their jobs are gone and they're being replaced by AI. And I've seen it now already. The big companies, they're not investing in human resources development and learning and development for the employees and
machine
recruitment
learning.
and all that. They're investing in AI so that they can cut the people. And so this is going to be an interesting thing. You mentioned the politics, and last election, I was an early supporter of Andrew Yang because of the universal basic income. And then we had him on Crypto Mondays.
Yep. Yes, we did.
And I told him, I said, you know what, bro? I was backstage with him in a green room that we had. That was a fat party. And I said, man, you know what? You're the first politician I ever got behind. I said, and the only reason is because universal basic income, because I'm a technologist. I've been in the area for a long time. I've been in online learning for 20 years. I've been seeing these things come out, and that's what you see. You see that we need to have a social, structure for that. Yeah. Do I believe that world coining is good for that? No. I think that's some weird stuff out of some dude's brain that is wanting to take our eyeballs. But do I think that we need a universal basic income? Yeah. Do I think that AI is going to create the opportunity for all these people that are losing their jobs to go into the space of different things and have more leisure time? Yeah. And I think the young people with not having to work because their jobs are going to be replaced, I think that is going to create a renaissance of creativity. And I love arts, I love culture, and I love ideas and entrepreneurship. And what we're going to see now, this is the next thing coming, man. And you've seen a couple Google people leave for this. The interface with autonomous bots running your business. So it's like a video game. It's like you have all your people, your marketing people, and they're doing all these little micro tasks, but they're actually AI in the background, autonomous agents talking to each other and stuff like that. But you can manage it and control it all like a video game.
It's so funny.
So we're gonna see a lot of one-man businesses, and you know what I like about AI, just like I like about crypto, with what OpenAI did, and open source LLMs, and that's what I was doing as a professor. I was an innovator in network neutrality, open source publications. I believe in freedom and access for the little guy. Just like with crypto, anybody can go buy a little bit of Bitcoin. If anybody can go buy a Polygon Matic for 10 cents, 8 cents, whatever it is. Anybody can buy something small and get into crypto. And with the exchanges, whether it's centralized exchange, non-centralized exchange, whether it's your own real identity or something you bought off the internet. But anyways, a little guy can get in. Traditionally, with investments and stuff like that, you can't get in. And look at what they're trying to do. They're trying to squeeze all the little guy out right now.
Yeah.
And it's still happening. But crypto was a revolution in that. And I think with OpenAI opening the access for the APIs and the no code and these kind of new things, I think also that the little guy has a chance only if they have a mindset and an education to solve problems, to create products, if they have a heart for the world, and if they understand themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. A lot of time have passed, and I know we can go on for on and on. But there are two questions that I always ask. Shout out to Yuri. Name a book that you're currently reading and a book that changed your life.
Wow, that's great. First of all, I love that you ask about literature, because this is something near and dear to my heart as a person with a degree, master's degree in literature, and a specialist in reading education. First of all, I'd like to share with everybody, if I can, that I did create a method with AI that you can use a ChatGPT or something like that with my method with Cambridge University to understand any technical text or complex text within minutes. But you understand it. You just use AI as a tool to help you with complex vocabulary in the beginning. But if you follow my 7-step Cambridge method, it's actually developed by me, but in collaboration with Cambridge University. My 7-step method to understand any technical text is a wonderful way for you to skip over all the complex stuff. If you're reading a white paper, if you're reading complex technical stuff, you can use this method to improve your reading skills. So I gotta say that, but I know your time's limited. Books that I'm reading now, one's called Power versus Force. This is an amazing book. I highly recommend Power versus Force to this. It was recommended to me by Tony Robbins. And so it's amazing, a book, a great book. And then my favorite book of all time, besides of course the Holy Bible, is, and I can also recommend the Holy Quran as well. But the best book you want to read, whether it's language models or what you're doing, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to go into a high level anything, is The Art of Rhetoric by Aristotle. It's a 2,000-year-old book that is still so relevant today and is the framework and the basis for all kind of ways that we persuade anybody in any action. Aristotle was the man, and I highly recommend that book. It's the best ever.
That's really, really good, especially coming
we didn't talk about crypto, bro.
No, we did. So let's give it a quick update of what are you doing now, Um,
I'm getting ready to blow up some stuff. I'm getting ready to blow some stuff up, man. I'm getting ready to transition out away of what I was doing with Crypto Mondays. There's a lot of good shows. You can go to Crypto Mondays Global YouTube channel. And what I did is I moved away from the in real life events, even though I still have in real life events with Crypto Mondays. I'm just basically interviewing top name people when I go to these blockchain conferences. And you can follow me. Of course, everybody who follows me, I'll suggest to them as well to follow you, especially when they're into crypto trading and in the Web3 space. But what I'm getting ready to move into more is my nonprofit, which is get-smart.net. I finally solved the wallet problem, so this is going to allow Web2 users to access these tokenized credentials and badges. And basically, what I want to do is tokenize $1 trillion in student debt and then erase it through my nonprofit. So I'm concerned, especially in America, about student debt. And what we've already been able to do is we've already been able to negotiate $13 million of student debt for $1 and then erase it for over 9,000 borrowers that are in knee deep in student debt. And I tell you what, we tokenize it, and we do a thing called collective tokenized bargaining, which enables people through a nonprofit organization to come together, and then we invest in the crypto, and then we take the returns, and instead of giving it back to the investors, because there's no investors, instead of giving it back to the token holders, we actually turn the profit into cash and then use that to negotiate student debt at bottom dollar, and then we erase it for our token holders. So this is a way that we don't have the SEC involved, we don't have the government involved, we have the government that's actually pro this kind of system, because we're talking about student debt as a $1.7 trillion problem, $38,000 average. I know you know some of the people that are following you on your show that are in student debt, and we got a crypto solution to that. And I think that's going to be the thing I'm going to be focused on. Hopefully, I come down there to where you're at. Beautiful city, amazing people down there, and I'm going to come and do a road show. Hopefully later this year, and maybe with you, man.
What's the next event that you're going to in the crypto space? You going to Denver, Paris, what?
Well, I set up Internet Computer and ETH Denver. That's going to be a big event. We got Amin Soleimani and Lou's going to be on stage there. I'm not going to go to that. I'm instead going to hit the big time. And that's going to be Token 2049 in Dubai, but and Token 2049. So you got the next big things coming up. You got NFT NYC. Yep. Are you going to be there?
Yes.
Okay, then I have to come. I got a speaking stage at NFT NYC, but and then after that is Paris Blockchain Week. But that's kind of for the upper echelon of the crypto folks. And then Token 2049 Dubai. And if you're looking for investment for your product, if you got a world-class product, if you got something going amazing, if you guys want it to look, if you're on the founder side, you want investment or your project or your idea, I tell you what, the best place to go 100% is Dubai. 100%.
You know what's so crazy? Having an opportunity to host Crypto Mondays, I've met a lot of people from Dubai. And they always say, Ab, you need to leave New York, come out here. He says, New York, you just big in the United States, but if you come to Dubai, you be big global. So I said, you know what, I'm a definitely figure out how to get myself over.
Dubai's big time, but you know who Dubai's big brother is?
Oh.
And they're not into crypto yet, but they're gonna be?
Oh.
I'm talking about Dubai's big brother. That's Saudi Arabia, mate. I was just there. And at Cardano's there, and they're like, we got $10 million for 20 projects. That's $500K per project. Yeah. And there's like 4 guys that are entrepreneurs there. So you have Saudi Arabia's big time. So when they come over to crypto, watch out. So I think that's coming. And Dubai, but Dubai, I interviewed Marwan Al-Zaroni. You can watch it on Crypto Mondays Global, and he reveals on the YouTube channel, he reveals their 2033 esports strategy, and they're ambitious, man. And he says, Dubai, they look at the government. So he's the head of blockchain for the whole government there. And he said they look at Dubai in general as a business. So they frame their whole entire country as a business. Interesting stuff, man. We got to get you out there, bro. I mean, you're hot, so they like that in Dubai.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Josh. I really appreciate it. This is Beyond the Blockchain podcast. Josh, please tell them how they can find you, how they can connect you to, how they can erase them student debts.
Yeah, man. So right now we're signing on people to Get Smart. This is going to be a big deal because obviously we believe in this in tokens also for social good, not just making money, but you can make some money too. All right. So if you want to learn more about Get Smart, and thank you for telling me that, it's a US 501c3 nonprofit organization. And so you're actually getting crypto and you're getting tax deductible crypto as well. And it's at https get-smart.net. All right. Get-smart.net. All right. And you can, and then if you want to go and find out all the interviews that I've been doing, and you go to YouTube and type in Crypto Mondays Global. And if you want to see what's going on in crypto and the best things, and you know what, you know where to go at Abby Abtract's Ab Lab Digital Beyond the Block podcast.
You already know.
All right.